Let's talk about why so many coaches, consultants, and people in similar positions, business owners, end up just being broke. And it's not because they're not good at what they do or they don't know their worth or anything like that, but it's because they've been listening to the wrong fucking advice. And you know the advice that I'm talking about. It's that advice where it says, only take high ticket clients, know your worth, never devalue yourself, which is great advice to a point when you've got money in the bank. But it can be terrible advice if you're actually trying to build a business. But something no one is talking about is the unglamorous work, the unsexy work, is the work that actually creates your success. Everywhere you look, it's the same message. It's charge what you're worth. It's create your signature high ticket package. It's only work with premium clients who can afford what you charge. And you know what? I do give that advice myself. Not to everyone and not all the time, but there is a lot of power to it and a lot of merit to it because it's empowering. It sounds like you're valuing yourself, which is very important. But here's what's actually happening. You're sitting at home with no clients, no income, getting no experience from the work that you could be doing while you're waiting for your perfect, ideal, amazing client to come up to you magically and just drop 30K, 40K, 50K, 100K. right into your lap and say, let's start working. Naturally, this doesn't just happen. Meanwhile, your bills, they keep piling up. Your confidence erodes because you're not getting that experience and a bunch of opportunities just tend to pass you by. Because you said no to that $500 or that $1,000, that 5K engagement or that 5K opportunity because it wasn't big enough. Because some of the big guns told you to know your worth and don't settle for less. Bills don't stop because you're waiting for your perfect client, and neither does your growth. You may not realize it, but when you're holding out for those high ticket clients, those big spenders, the ideal clients, which I look for in my own business as well, you're actually missing out and you're losing quite a lot along the way. The obvious one, of course, is your income, where you're actually saying no to opportunities that might only be for 1,000K or 2K, 5K, 10K, even if that's not big enough for you. While you're waiting for that massive 40K, 50K, even 100K client that might never come. But it's not just about the income. I mean, of course, yeah, the income helps. Like, the income's good because that's how you grow a business and it's successful. But you know what makes you better at coaching? Coaching. Not waiting for the ideal client, not the planning, but the actual reps with real clients, regardless of what they're spending. You're missing out in more credibility as well. Testimonials, the possibility of referrals. Every client, regardless of how much they pay, they can refer you to someone else. They can become a testimonial for your business to help you get closer to those high ticket clients. And they can open doors that you didn't even know existed. And think about referrals, because I see a lot of people, a lot of coaches really miss out on this. Referrals are super important, especially if you want to grow a business which is referral based and invitation only based. I mean, if you had like an intensive session or a 1-day session with a client, they paid you $1,000 or $1,500. That person knows other people. Some of them just might be able to afford the 40K that you're looking for, or the 50K that you're looking for. But you'll never meet those potential referrals if you're saying no to the smaller fish. One of the most important things it ends up costing you is your own growth. I mean, you stretch, you create, you get creative with solutions, you get creative in ways to get clients, and you learn what actually works across different situations. So the cost is way greater than just a financial cost to your business. But you know who is benefiting from this type of advice? And that's the gurus who are selling all the courses and all the books on the premium positioning benefit. Those Instagram and TikTok coaches showing off their 100K months benefit, because you're not asking how many years it took them or how many years they waited before they got to that point. It's that highlight reel culture where everything looks so sexy and glamorous, but the unglamorous work doesn't look nearly as good. So why would you position it like that? It doesn't photograph well. So you see all of those people highlighting that you have to have this signature product and you have to just find those high ticket clients. Now, I've got my own high ticket coaching program. I mean, I charge 40K to work with me one-on-one for 12 months, but those clients are very few and far between. Not everyone can afford that. Not everyone can invest in that, their time and their energy either. They might not even be ready for it. That's why when I'm speaking to someone, over the years, I've crafted specific tailor-made programs just for them. I've worked with someone for 4 weeks for 5K. I've done a 1-day intensive session for 1,500. I've done a single 2-hour coaching session for 500. I will usually offer my 40K coaching program first. But like I said, most people can't afford it and most people aren't ready. But when someone can't do that, I don't send them away. I will sit down with them, I will work with them, and I'll create something that fits into their budget and their timeline. Tailored, bespoke, made for them on the spot. And you know what happens when I do this? I still get to coach. I still get to do my passion work. I still get to serve someone. I make money, I build referrals, and more importantly, I gain more experience for my coaching. Meanwhile, other coaches out there, good coaches as well, they can go months with no income coming in because they keep waiting for that right client, the ideal client, the avatar that they're told that they have to create. And so what happens when you're in that position? The stress compounds, the anxiety builds. Now they need to get a client. That's desperation coming to the surface. And those clients that you speak to when you're in that state, they can smell it. They can feel the desperation coming off you. Rich Litvin is a coach that I follow. He's really good. And I heard him once say that in his last 2 cohorts, his clients made $8 million in proposals and they signed 2.78 million. That's a 65% rejection rate. But what does that mean? That means they heard no way more than they heard yes anytime they put a proposal out there, but they kept giving proposals to potential clients. They didn't wait for the perfect client or the perfect situation. I'm tired of seeing people miss opportunities for additional income, experience, and credibility and referrals because they've been told that they have to wait and only serve those high-ticket people. Now, when you're starting out, even when you're completely established, you need movement, you need clients, you need to be doing the reps no matter how small they are. And not someday, but today, like right now. Because this is what nobody tells you. That 40K coaching program, or whatever it is that you've got to sell, that doesn't exist until someone actually buys it. Until then, it's just an idea. But that 5K package that you just created for someone last week, that's real money. That's real experience. That's a real testimonial. That's a real potential referral. And that's what I call the unglamorous work. It's those little things. It's the small things you put together that builds the foundation so you can support those 40K clients when they come. Rich Litvin also said that the success you have today was built 3 years ago. The real work happens when no one is looking. It's the repetition. It's the rejection. This is the work. So as I mentioned before, this is what I do. So my approach is I will lead with my 40K 12-month high-level coaching program always. I offer it first. But if I know that's not an option, and you can usually tell pretty quick when you're speaking to someone where their financial level is and where their commitment level is, I would follow up with something like, that's probably a little bit too much for where you are right now. It's a lot of money. It's a big commitment. So what I'd like to do is create a smaller, tailor-made package or a version of it that fits into your budget and into your time right now. Tailored to you, but you still get the results. How would that sound? And then I will create it with them on the spot. And this may feel harder. That's because it usually is. Because it feels uncomfortable. And you might feel like you're not valuing yourself because you really want those high-ticket clients and that's what you're worth, right? And they might say no anyway. But that's good because you need significantly more no's to get to the yes you're looking for. And it's harder because it stretches your creativity as well, because you can't just deliver the same program 20 times over. You have to actually think about what's going to serve this person with these commitments and these constraints right now. But when you do this, things change. You start to increase your proposal rate. You're offering more because you're not waiting for those high ticket clients. More no's means you're in more conversations, and more conversations means that the yeses are coming eventually. And you're growing beyond your current circumstances because you're not stuck waiting. You're not letting the anxiety and stress build while you're waiting for the next check to come in. You're building and you're growing. And you realize there's more ways of getting paid than money alone. You get paid in the creativity of the offers that you can put together on the spot and your quick thinking. You're getting paid in potential referrals from even bigger clients, and you get paid in testimonials that further build your credibility in your business. And most importantly, you're in the game. You're no longer watching from the sidelines. Most of the work I'm doing is in the smaller packages, the bespoke once-off packages that I put together for people on the spot. I have my 40K program and some people buy it, but most of my work is the smaller stuff. It's the made up, it's the tailor-made, it's created for who's in front of me at the time in a way that's going to fit with them, but also stretch them at the same time. I get given referrals from potential 40K clients in the future, but I'm building up my network in the process as well. I'm building testimonials, I'm building case studies, and I'm keeping myself sharp and creative in the work that I'm doing in the meantime. The coaches who are making money, they're the ones who are flexible. They're the ones who are in conversations. They're the ones who are being creative and saying yes to potential clients as opposed to saying no while they're holding out. Coaches who are specifically waiting for that right client, they're the stressed ones. They're the desperate ones, the anxious ones. They're going months and months between clients and they're really struggling in between. Now, which one sounds more sustainable to you? One little caveat I want to put in here is that you're still being selective with your clients. You're still saying no to clients who you don't think are going to get a result, you don't think are a good fit. That's still perfectly fine. I'm not saying just say yes to everyone. I'm just saying say yes to bringing in income, working with people who are a good fit, who can afford it in a different way, just not at that high ticket way. So if this is resonating with you, I'm going to give you a bit of a challenge for this week, and I want you to, number one, is just start creating multiple price points this week if you don't have them already. So if you're one of those people who have been just waiting for those high ticket clients, start with creating just some multiple price points this week. Create different ways where people can work with you, not just the one-off high-ticket client or that offer, but create maybe 3 to 5 ways that people can work with you. Think of maybe doing a 2-hour or 3-hour coaching session, a full-day intensive, a 2-week coaching program, 4-week coaching program, 6-week coaching program, but have multiple options where people can just choose, almost like in a menu, which way they want to work with you so they can work with you. Once you've done that, I want you to go back into previous potential clients when you proposed to them who said no. Maybe you've got about 2, 3, maybe even 5. But those who said no to you in the past. And tell them you've created some new options. You've been thinking about ways where you still want to serve them and they're going to get value from you, and see if they're open just to hearing about it. Create another conversation with them. Let them know that you've created something that you think is going to fit into their situation based on the last time you spoke. Then after that, I want you to really, really get comfortable with hearing no. Because you might call these people, these previous potential clients, lay out your new packaging, tell them you've got something specific, and guess what? They still might say no. And that is awesome. That's perfect. Because a no is going to get you closer to a yes, and it means that you can move on to someone who could potentially say yes. And it's at this stage where that uncomfortable feeling is going to come up, because it probably is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable because you still might feel like you're devaluing yourself. You're not. You still might feeling like you're settling for less. You're not. And it might even feel like your ego is resisting, because it probably is. But this is not the time or the place for your ego or pride to get into it. If you're a coach, you know that ego is going to screw you any way it can. Don't let it happen to you. But when you do this, I guarantee you, you will learn to stretch your creativity. That each conversation becomes a chance to innovate and be creative. You will increase your proposal rate. More offers means more no's, means more yeses eventually. You will grow beyond your current circumstances and your current thinking, because you won't be stuck waiting for that high-ticket client. You will realize that you get paid in multiple ways, not just in money. You get paid in your experience, your growth, your referrals, and your credibility. And most importantly, as said it before, you'll be in the game. You won't be watching from the sidelines. And I know some of you by now might even be thinking that, you're devaluing coaching, or you're just going to attract broke clients if you do this, or, you should really know your worth. And I get it. I mean, I've spoke about knowing your value, knowing your worth, charging at a high level. It's something I encourage a lot of my clients to do when they're coaches or consultants or doing their own business. This isn't about that. This is about doing the work, the unglamorous work, the unsexy work, the work that builds the foundation. I'm not saying drop your prices so you can coach anyone and everyone. You still have the power to qualify them out and say no to them if they're not a good fit, but you're creating more opportunities for people to work with you now. So there's more opportunity for those high level, high ticket clients in the future. Because that 5K client that you take today might have a friend who will be your next 40K client. But if you think I'm wrong, let me know. Maybe you've been one of those people that's built a thriving practice only by taking 50K clients from day one. If you have, I would love to hear about it. Leave a comment below, let me know, and I'd probably like to get a couple of ideas off you as well. But if you're months into your coaching business, or even years, and you've got practically no clients because you're waiting for that premium client, we need to talk. And if that is you, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. How long have you been waiting for that right client while all the bills pile up? How many opportunities have you said no to because they weren't big enough? And how much time have you wasted looking for that perfect high-paying client? If these questions sting a little bit, good. That's because you're ready. The unglamorous work isn't sexy. It doesn't photograph well for Instagram. You can't make a highlight reel out of it. But it's what builds real businesses. If you're tired of waiting and ready to build, even if it means starting with smaller packages, even if it means getting creative with your offers, even if it means hearing no 65% of the time, that's the work we do in coaching. Not the highlight reel, the real work, the unglamorous work. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope it served you in some way. If it did, let me know. Leave a comment below. If you want to have a chat about our conversation with me, link is in the description below. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.